Another Askari Cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, author of the Ancient Illumination series as well as Bonnie Chronicles, and I'm joined once again by Jordan Purnell Jackson.
Hey everybody.
He is the creator of Eve of Insurrection and Eve of Reclamation, also the illustrator for the Ancient Illumination graphic novels as well as the Bonnie Chronicles comic. And we are finally back after a week's delay. I know everybody's been talking about it, but we had to get this out of the way and give our takes on the finale of Secret Invasion. So, spoiler alerts if you have yet to watch it. There's been a lot of opinions floating around, but we're going to get into it today. Um, let's see. We have the episode opens up with Vara, that she's no longer going by Priscilla. She wants to be known by her scroll name, original name.
Original. Yes.
We see her returning home with the bug out bag, which is weird that she's going back after the assassination attempt in episode 5. And we get a moment with her, and Fury gives her a phone call as she's coming through the door. And we see that it's not quite over between them, because I Nick Fury seems to be at a loss for words in this conversation. He's like, "I gotta let you go," and you hear her go like, "You don't have to, darling." Like, oh, well,
Yeah, very husband and wife vibe.
yeah. After that, you see, at least on her side at this point, that it's not necessarily over. Then they flash forward to before that, it's almost like a last phone call, like he knows this is a
Yes.
suicide mission kind
And
of thing.
that's what was irritating me in the beginning. I'm like, so Nick, you're going on a suicide mission and in Chernobyl. In Chernobyl, and I'm like, is this really worth doing this? Like you can't last that long in radiation.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, I called it last time that it wasn't
We
going to be him
We all called that. That's
going,
what made it feel even
but
more goofy.
but technically he still thinks he's going on a suicide mission because he's knowing he's going to confront Scrody around the president, and so I think that's what he's thinking about. Um, and we see that the president is being pressed by Scrody to act now. Like,
So
I need you to
annoying.
press the button on this now. We all know, obviously, that it's a scroll, and it should have been becoming more and more apparent to the president at this point, like how bad dude's attitude is toward everybody.
He's snapping on the white woman.
Yeah, he's being
He's basically telling her, you
she's
don't know how
like
to do your
joint,
job.
she's like joint chiefs of staff, like she's the head of the military technically. I believe, or at least I know she's like an admiral, or
Hmm.
she's a high-ranking officer in the military, obviously reporting directly to the president. And yeah, Scrody is just going off on her. Did you take a stupid pill this morning? He's just being awful
Well, off the wall.
disrespectful.
This black man was talking crazy to these white people. Like, woohoo.
Yeah. So that's going on, and we see what looks like Nick Fury sneaking into the Skrull compound, making a show of being affected by the radiation as they go along. Like radiation sickness looks to be setting in. They start stumbling, they're coughing a lot the
You're
whole
not
time.
wait. Let's not gloss over his dumb tactic of like the distraction of the car.
Oh, the car?
And I don't know. Were they saying stop in Russian or something?
I don't know what they were
But
saying,
they
but
were like, huh, huh. They were saying something and shoots up the car. And I'm like, he's not in there. Nick's not in there. Come
no.
on, guys, be smarter than this. Pop gets both of them and just
Yeah, they get
waltzes right
shot from
in.
they get shot from a distance. It wasn't even like they're looking at the car like, ooh, what's this?
What is this? And he's popping iodine pills, or the iodine pills
Yeah.
to protect from the radiation.
I don't know. He's probably got like technically we know this is Gaia disguised as Nick Fury. I've already said it multiple times. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the episode. But it's Gaia. I mean, she might as well have been popping Flintstones vitamins
Yeah,
as
really
walked
thought
up.
she
Just put
was.
them in a medicine pill box or something. Uh, and Sonia calls Scrody, the British agent from
Yeah,
SIS.
which was surprised, which I was a
Yeah,
little
I was still
confused on.
at
Yeah.
moments I was kind of surprised. I was like, I don't know if this is a side play. Um, call Scrody to warn them that Nick Fury is coming. So obviously, like Nick Fury can't be in two places at once. So we know that one of
Well,
the
remember they didn't play it. They played it in a they tried to hide it from us by saying that She didn't say Nick. Did she say Nick, or did she say that there's a threat coming and we need to
No,
change?
I
We need to
think
change rooms because that gives away what we know, what we find out like seconds later. Because I feel like that phone call happened before the reveal.
it was before the reveal. But no, she names Fury specifically that Fury is coming, and that's when
That
they
just
start
made it.
moving the
I'm a little
president around the
irritated because I didn't
hospital.
pay attention to that part, and that kind of makes it even dumber. They didn't even try. Whatever.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. So she gives the warning that Fury is coming, and they start moving the president through the hospital, getting ready for him to break in. Which is funny because everybody's been telling this man, if it is it's Fury, everybody's been telling this man how old and broke down he is. Yet the Secret Service and all these people are supremely worried that he's going to come in. The president calls for a gun, and then he's sitting in the hospital bed like, I need a gun, I need a weapon. It was hilarious.
What are you gonna do, Prez? What are you gonna do, Prez?
And on the flip side, we see Gravik and Fury basically trading speeches as they get to
That
the
was that was a theater. That was a theater performance, a stage play performance. I thought that was the most just unnecessary. Like it felt unnecessary, or the execution. Yeah, the execution felt very unnecessary and forced.
yeah,
Like, why are we doing this right here, right now? Gives this man a drink. Like that's gonna do something. Like that's really gonna smooth everything over. And I'm like,
yeah.
it
Go
was
ahead.
just I was just like, and and Gravik, the actor, he's acting, he's acting, but I'm like him talking about how they pimped him, how they pimped him out. I was like, oh, he did, but it's like this is so over, just extended, and like, can we just get to the point? We know y'all gonna fight, so what's happening? Stop
Well,
talking.
not only that, the speech on Fury's side is basically Gaia's approximation of what she thinks happened from Fury's
Yeah,
perspective.
which is just a lie, which is fine, sort of, I guess. I could get her making it up because we
Yeah,
can't. Gravik can't confirm or deny, but then there will be certain things like how would she know that?
yeah.
So I was like, that was strange. Like him fluttering off, like the word he's the flicking off or fluttering off when he fades to dust. It was just a weird little, just like mannerism or thing. I was like,
We learn
why
about
are we
Gravik
doing
though, because Gravik reveals that the reason why he took the form he did, it was the first human that
this?
he
He
killed
killed, yeah.
on Fury's order, supposedly. So that was kind of a twist I didn't expect. We now we know that, like I said, we knew that that was not actually Nick Fury, but it looks at first like like this is the end. Fury's about to die, although we know he can't die
And then he
because
has the thing. Let's talk about the thing with all. What is it called? The
that's after.
Harvester.
That's
Oh, we're
that's
not
after.
getting the Harvester. Okay.
No, because they're making a show of him dying. Like the radio
Oh
presenter
yeah.
talks about my boy drops the pills down the drain. Gravik
Oh
kicks,
no! What did you
and
think
then
was gonna happen?
it's at this point where he's seemingly on his deathbed that he reaches in his coat pocket and then pulls out the vial.
The
Like,
Harvester.
I'm gonna try. My thing is, what's your assurance that Gravik's gonna keep his word if this is what you give him? Like, you give
Oh.
him the harvest
Mm-hmm.
in exchange for, if I give you this power, then you have to vow to leave this planet alone and go find your home. And like at that
And
point,
mess up somebody else. Like that wasn't very right.
yeah,
Would
for Earth
Nick say
sake,
that?
I'm like, my notes. I'm like, this is risky. Like, what's the
This is a risk. This is
how are you
exactly.
going to guarantee that this person is going to keep their word once you give them their power? And a lot of theories about the actual harvest. Like, this makes absolutely no sense that they just have this one shot with everybody's power in it. It would have made much more sense if
Well,
this was just one
look
person
at the
spearhead.
vial as a repository of DNA. Let's not. I mean, it makes sense if you want to like.
It really doesn't.
If you want to consolidate information and data in one place instead of spreading it across the world, which actually might be better. Maybe it doesn't make sense to put it all in one object.
But
Yeah,
not that. But yeah, that I don't. No,
you're like, I'm
you would
not
have
buying
each
it.
individual one, and you could tailor if you were going to have some programs to do this, you tailor who had what powers. You wouldn't give everybody this one shot Mickey where you have
You got everything.
everybody's powers in
You
one
got
shot.
everything.
And what if something goes horribly wrong because you got them all mixed, and how a body would react to that?
Oh, you're hilarious. You're really getting into it. They're scroll. I mean, applying that to normal
To the
any other
scroll,
human being. Scroll, I mean, clearly
okay,
no, because they're so adaptable. So I could excuse them if you apply to any other race of people. There could be obvious repercussions for like mixing two different powers entity, like two different DNAs, codes and powers into a person. So that could have been explored in another capacity, but this.
that makes sense if the scroll had gathered these things for themselves alone. We're talking about supposedly a human agent gathered all this DNA. So, like, I don't know what this was for if Nick Fury was gathering this stuff. Like, this isn't. So I think Jocelyn, when we spoke last, had equated it to Batman keeping everybody's weaknesses in his back pocket in case somebody turned evil. But
I mean,
this
that's
is,
genius, though. That makes sense.
but this is just, I'm taking a little bit of everybody's DNA, boiling it down, and then mixing them all up in one vial. It would have made more sense to keep them separated, and then you could basically you could build a hero. You know what I mean?
True.
If you wanted to just give you a
I
splash
mean,
of this, a little bit of that,
yeah.
and bam.
And it
not
makes it harder for villains to have every power if they like have to get a specific vial of DNA. That's why I had to come to terms. I was like, well, maybe it does make sense that they just split it over different vials.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was
in my opinion, that
goofy.
made no sense for
That
him
was
to have
goofy.
all in one. And then we finally get the reveal who it is when Gravik turns on the machine with supposedly Nick Fury in there, and then we finally get to see that it's revealed that it is in fact Gaia.
With a nice punch. Buff Gravik.
Yeah.
shirtless Buff Gravik comes in, ready to smack up Nick, and Nick catches that with a normal.
Yeah. Because at first she still looks like Nick Fury
It's
and
still
catches
Nick.
the hand.
And then we're all like, oh, that's clearly not Nick, because Nick's hand would be able to take all that power. Oh, that's clearly Gaia. Transforms her arm into Hulk's arm. Hulk punches her Gravik out of that room into a giant tower.
And then we see a Drax arm. She that was like a.
Which is weird. Drax, some weird stony looking dude. I was like, what is this?
Everything all in one. I'm like, okay, we're doing this.
And then they're basically the same issue. The same thing I hate about what Marvel does is we're gonna have a hero and a villain fight, and they have the same powers. So that
they have the same powers, but
literal same powers.
Yeah, you knew one of them had to go, and it leaves it still has unanswered questions after this plays out. I mean, you some people may have enjoyed the scene because there was some pretty cool stuff they showed. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Some people probably enjoyed it, but I don't think it was very fulfilling. And from what I've seen of opinions I've seen online, folks are not really happy with
the fight scene itself or the entire package?
I think the entire package, how everything came together.
Oh, it was trash.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say definitively.
Because we knew we weren't really gonna lose Nick Fury because he shows up in Marvels, unless you were gonna say that was Gaia again posing as Nick Fury up on Saber later when we see Kamala Khan in the trailer for the Marvels. We get Scrody finally gets their comeuppance. As Sonya shows up in the end scene, and has a gun to Scrody. Scrody's got a gun.
Nick's got a gun. The real Nick has a gun.
We have a standoff with weapons, and finally Scrody makes a mistake and tries to take the gun from Sonya, and then Nick shoots it.
Doesn't Nick disarm the president to get the gun?
I'm not sure. That might have happened.
That's what happened.
Scrody gets shot in the head.
Yeah, Nick did that.
The funny thing is, what should have happened didn't happen immediately.
Which is what? What should have happened?
All intents and purposes, Secret Service around the president thinks Nick Fury is coming to attack the president and then shoots a member of your party, and everybody waits to see the scroll, Scrolly transformed back into their Rava form as a scroll before anything is done. You're around the president, Secret Service there, and you fire off a round, you should be full of holes before anything gets done. And that is not what happened. We don't know what to do. Like
That
protocol,
wasn't realistic.
yeah, protocol would dictate they would start shooting immediately as soon as they seen a cap get busted. Then there would have been return fire immediately. We can ask questions later. I thought the president was in danger. This man was armed in front of the president. We were in a standoff. A round was fired. I returned fire.
I don't care if it was Nick Fury.
Yeah.
It's like we had to do our job. They was some washed up Secret Service. Man.
Yeah.
They still had the same guy who had the sling on the whole time.
Sling on his arm. I don't understand why they're still at the hospital if the president's no longer in critical condition. You would have taken him to a secure location and not kept him there in the hospital.
Someone didn't think about that on the writing team.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of things, and then at the end we see the president goes extreme. He's just gonna kill any non-natural born alien on the planet, and so that I guess that.
And said we can find you. We know how to find you. I'm like, but how?
Yeah, and how you gonna deal with Gaia if that's your attitude now? She got all these powers. Like, what you gonna do? Because Sonya knew. She's like, yeah, that would be an unfair fight. When she finally catches up to her in the end, like, I'm not here to fight. That wouldn't be a fair fight. We all know how that plays out, but I will give you, basically, I'm going to give you a platform to handle your business, and we'll help each other. And then she's thinking like, well, this is going to be the type of relationship we had with Nick Fury, because that didn't go so well. We didn't get what we want. And she's like, no, I'm going to use you. You'll use me.
Too much emotions and personal stuff involved. We got to keep it business.
Yeah, we'll keep it real that we're both using each other to advance our causes where we have some common ground, basically. You gonna help me do some stuff? I'll help you do. Even though I don't know how much resources Sonya and the SIS have that are going to be able to, like, because Fury's got Saber still. Like he's got a space station. I ain't seen nothing to show me that Sonya and her crew have a space station guarding the planet and willing to look out into the void to see if they can find this scroll a home. But we'll see. But yeah, I guess we got our answer on how Ritson gets out of there, because Skrull ain't gonna be, none of the aliens are gonna be having that. He's basically calling for an alien lynching. We're gonna kill all non-Earth-born aliens.
I thought that was pretty realistic in a way.
And so that gives us how he gets out of the picture and makes room for Thunderbolt Ross, which we know Harrison Ford has been casted to play, and becomes the Red Hulk for Thunderbolts. But we have an avenue, at least realistically, to see how he's moved to the side, and things are going to get worse, I assume. And then that's, because they're making, Ross has always been a more conservative and kind of extremist himself, for the point where he was going after the Hulk the whole time in the comics and movies and everything.
He was obsessed with capturing the Hulk,
to the point where he made himself a Hulk version himself to try and battle the Hulk. So yeah, we now know how that's going to play out, at least from, somebody's going to get the current president out of there and be replaced with Thunderbolt Ross. Who was the lady? I forget. Julia Dreyfus plays a character from.
She's the new head of. Isn't she like the new head of some type of agency?
Yeah. And we got to wonder, Agent Ross. Now that he's free, we see that at the end too. We didn't touch on that. That we see the other humans that the Skrulls were holding captive being free.
Agent Ross and Rhodey.
Agent Ross sees Rhodey, the real Rhodey.
How long you been in here? Which is so dumb. Like, he not gonna know. What he gonna say? I've been in here since. Was he really gonna give us an answer?
He still has his hospital, so they snatched him out the hospital after Captain America: Civil War or Endgame, which because.
Somebody, I think they there was something I saw online that said the director said it would have happened in Civil War, and I'm like, does that line up though? I'd rather it be Endgame if anything, but then that's just that's dumb.
You'd rather it be
after? I'd rather it be Endgame if anything. I'd rather it be Endgame. Rather be Endgame if anything.
Either way, it still tarnishes that interaction with him and Falcon. when he questions why he didn't pick up the shield initially with him
Yeah,
as a
that
baby.
means he would have been Scrody at that time too,
Yeah.
which is like, it's weird. It's all
But if it
weird.
is him in if it is Scrody in Endgame, it also lines up why he was so adamant about killing baby Thanos. Well, we just go back in time and
Kill baby Thanos. Whoa.
like it's
Yeah,
a baby. He's like, yeah, but
but
it's Thanos. We can
who
save many
cares?
lives by nipping this in the bud before it grows up and becomes a problem.
That was wild. That was very just goofy. Like I don't even know why they asked me. I just didn't need Ross to say how long you been in here. Like he can't answer that question. And that just, I mean, we knew he was captive, so it's like you would have to show us a scene how he got caught, but
And
that's
we don't know.
not
We still don't
necessary
know
to the
exactly
story.
when Ross was taken.
Yeah, we don't know when any of these people were taken.
If
It's
they got
all
him
like
before all this stuff happened with Wakanda
all
Forever.
off screen, all off screen shenanigans.
Yeah.
So that was oh how'd you feel? You glossed over the fight scene first of all. I know it wasn't that great, but
Well, no, I didn't gloss over it. It was just a big CGI fest of them,
you don't want to talk about.
exemplifying various powers that we've seen in other MCU projects. We see her transfer into a ghost from the second Ant-Man film, where she phases through when he throws a car at her.
Yep. He
Um,
used what was it Ebony Maw's
Ebony Maw, yeah,
R,
he had the
like,
telekinesis.
yeah, he used that. Like, here's the thing, at first when the fight started I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, but then it was like, oh, they're just punching each other. They're not really making this interesting. She used that ice sword thing. I'm like, okay,
Why does
okay.
he suddenly have rings on his finger when he did the telekinesis? Did
That's
he
what I
always?
was thinking. I'm like, you didn't have to put the ring on his hand. It didn't make sense. It was funny how they were just like, yeah, our bodies are going to transform into those person's body parts. So you know. And I was like, all right, that's goofy. And I think it was at one point where they were like fighting in the sky. This is the only part that I really liked. They're falling out of the sky, free fall, and they're kind of tussling, spinning. And she turns into Mantis and tells him to go to sleep. And I was like, that was the coolest part because she's using her power because he's using his powers in a very like brute force way. Like I'm just gonna pull out the Thanos hand and just smack you old time, and that
Yeah,
was it. But she actually kind of thought ahead, or she was thinking a little different about it.
she had the more cerebral fight between the two
Yeah,
of them. She was kind of.
and but then of course they did a dumb charge. They got up close and personal, started fighting. He said he taunted her. What'd he say? You not like your father?
Basically, you just like your
Oh,
father.
you just like your father? Oh yeah, you just like your father. And then she said, "No, I'm not my father." Plasma beam through the body, which gave me Dragon Ball Z vibes.
That's what I
Which
was thinking when they
it was like bloom. I was
the
like,
ground and you saw the cloud dust disperse and them shoot up in the air. I was like, if one of these fools go after Kamehameha, I'm done. I'm cutting this crap off. We're done for the night. I'm like, man,
that was straight out of Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, man, I kind of liked it, but this is all cheap. And the CGI was bad. I was like, here's the thing. I am fundamentally tired of like, so they keep doing this thing where like they'll introduce women characters, particularly white women characters that are super like actual OP. Like literally, Gaia now has all the powers.
she has all the
She
power.
is actually OP, and even her fight scene doesn't feel relatable. Like I don't really connect with her on that fight, and because I feel like throughout the entire series, we're really looking at Nick Fury's journey, and then her father dies, and then we don't really see her properly grieve. Like we don't, like I'm not really connecting with Guy enough to be like to really root for her during this fight scene with Gravik. It was very just surface
So
level. Like you gotta fight him, but
you
it just
don't
doesn't
believe
feel
when she's
rewarding.
at the funeral with Vara?
What are you saying?
We see her do the little funeral.
It wasn't. It still wasn't convincing or just like interesting. It's not interesting. I'll say that it's something, and it could be her acting. I don't know, but like it's like I don't really like connect with her character. I
Really?
didn't. I did not connect with Gaia's
You don't like
character.
Khaleesi?
I like her anything else. Wasn't she in Rogue One? Was she in Rogue One or or I'm mixing them up because she
You
looks very
mixing them
similar.
up. You talking
Yeah,
about
I
Jen
did.
Erso? No,
Oh
yeah,
no, she
no.
was great. Anyways, no, amazing Game of Thrones, but like that character, that was obviously a different character, but
Yeah.
like this character is just like guy's a support character, and it's like y'all
Well,
aren't
she's
really
a hell of
giving
an OP
her
support character now because she's gonna be a problem.
exactly, and I'm like, and it's like, do I? There's another thing. Do I like her enough to see her own project? No, I really don't. She's not interesting to me. She's like not even a badass on there. I don't know. She's
But
not
you,
giving me badass
either
vibes.
way though, you couldn't let Gravik win because he was gonna be a problem with you let him
No,
lose.
no, 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 no. Gravik had to die. That was actual fact. How that fight played out, Kamehameha through the stomach, sure, I was fine with that. Some may have argued why didn't he just use extremists to like regenerate his body.
Well, no, because I think it's through the heart. I think if the heart was somewhat intact, then he could have come
She
back.
went through his whole stomach. That was it. It was just a gut punch. He could
Yeah.
have regenerated, but I was like, man, fine. I mean, honestly, it should have been to the chest or to the head. That would have been fire had that
Always
gone
go
that way. Just always go for that. Come on now. Listen to what's his face?
Thanos.
Thor. Oh, what
He was
Thor
the one
should have
that
done.
told him. He remember
Thor
Thanos
should have done. Oh yeah, he did say that after cradling his head. That was crazy. Disrespect. But yeah, I was like, that was uninteresting. I'm like, oh, she's just knockoff. I don't know. She's just a knockoff of Captain Marvel now,
Yeah.
fluttering around. So I'm
Well,
like, all
it
right,
was
let's just
a
get
knockoff
past
of
this.
everybody pretty
Of
much.
everybody, yeah. I was like, let's just get past this, please.
We got a little epic battle, and then we have this stuff. We already talked about that closes out
You
the.
talking about green booty butt cheeks? I mean,
No. That's at the end
I was like,
when
we can get to that.
yeah, we're getting to that because we have everything kind of play out with the president and Scrody's dead, Rava's dead, and now Nick's obviously going to get his post back. The ship basically it ends how it opens when you have that single
Yeah, the
line of
beam of
light that comes
light.
through. The ship comes down, and he drives off into the like this remote place in the woods. And it's obviously he's going to step into his spaceship and go back up to the space station. And then we see Vara pull up with him and they're having a little conversation. He's like, how about you just come up with me? And he's like, but she's gonna get
What are
home in
you
her own
saying?
skin.
Yeah, green transformation.
Yeah, I'll go up with you, but I'm if I go up and be with you, I'm basically gonna be myself. And
Yeah, that,
we
that
get
mocha green tea love right there.
we get
Green
it's
tea
gonna be
Kit
green
Kat.
booty up there if we you seen the meme going around now with
Yes. Wait, wait, with Nick Fury are her green legs up?
green legs up there, going around
I
there.
did see that. I swear, I think I sent that to you. I paused. It was
I was
funny.
like,
I
yo,
was like,
they're going full Mass Effect here with the romance choices. We're gonna get green
yeah,
booty up in space.
getting green
So,
booty.
yeah, so that's the end of that. Show's over. What would you rate this overall out of 10?
Number 6 popped in my mind. Literally 6. I'll give it a 6.
I'm thinking the same.
Um,
Yeah.
just because oh, I also like there was another aspect we I think we may have talked about, I'm not sure. I liked the response of the rest of America, like them going around just popping random people,
Oh yeah.
not knowing who's a scroll. I'm like, this is very American, I vibe with that. And
But it was a foreign dignitary that we see get killed, like the real one. At the
yes, which
yeah
was that wasn't that was very human. I'll make that global. This is a very human response. I was like, yeah, if random people are gonna start coming up with conspiracies, being like this person's a scroll, and then come after them. So I thought that was realistic. Homegirl who left the scroll council, they showed that was her. Was that her fighting at the end?
fighting. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she was holding her own. I was like, okay, she got hands.
Shirley.
Sure, that was Shirley.
Yeah, sure. The one that called too quick after they kicked her out of the council.
Well, she can fight, so she
Yeah.
was holding her own. I was like, all right, cool, good for her. But I was
Malika
like,
says she gave it a 7 out of 10.
7? That's
A C.
generous. That's generous.
It is. It is
It
generous.
just felt like story wise, I felt like it goes flat. I think this show really got flat after around, I don't know. I feel like the 5th episode. I don't know. Things are getting off the tracks. I wasn't believing what was happening, And then the ending just really cemented it. I was like, you have a dumb fight scene, two people with the same powers. You have an unnecessary, long play dialogue monologue between two characters that didn't need to happen. That was just for the sake of acting and nothing else. And just it wasn't rewarding. Not there were no rewarding endings to this. I was like, ugh.
It didn't lean into what it was supposed to be to me. The things that you really
Elaborate. What do
like
you?
about this show is that it was supposed to be like another street level adventure where we're devoid of all of the Avengers, and we only have this one variable being the Skrulls, who could look like anybody,
Mm,
be anybody, and follow through with that aspect as much as possible. Similar to on the same streaming service, Andor.
great show.
Andor was a ground level fight where you had like the beginnings of the rebels building
Mm-hmm.
against the Empire, but none of the main players were featured in it. So you stripped it of all that we really were familiar with and gave us a real street level story about a spy. So similar shows, we have a spy that's going to be the spy for the rebels. In this instance, we have Nick Fury coming into town, which we really don't see that much of because he really just pops in and out at the end of
Mm-hmm.
movies at the beginning, but he's not really featured. We feature Nick Fury. We're going to push the spy angle, and it just kind of, like you said, it started off really strong and then kind of fizzled out. And then we have this fight scene that was supposed to be really epic, and it plays out like a fart in church. It doesn't go the way it should.
He said I wanted to.
It was spectacle with no substance at the end, and then we have too many lulls, and we only had 6 episodes to get this thing done. That was the other thing. It's like, I don't know. For me, it's like a 6, mainly
Mm.
because it started off really strong, and you didn't follow through the way you should, and it was Easter eggs for the sake of Easter eggs. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of substance to it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Where would you rate this in the Marvel or Disney Plus realm of Marvel shows? Strictly just Marvel.
Strictly Marvel.
Yes. How would you rank them if we had like what if we had like 10 shows? Let me pull up a list real quick.
What? Secret Invasion was better than End of the Road with Queen Latifah, which earned a 6 out of 10.
Wait, which one? Wait, which one?
She's comparing it to End of
Oh,
the
End of the Road was amazing. First of all, that was
Road.
so bad it was good. First, we're not even gonna get in that. That's not even relevant. All right, so we got Secret Invasion, Miss Marvel, Loki, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, WandaVision. What else? What am I missing? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. Come on, I'm missing another one.
Oh, Joseph.
Where would Secret Invasion kind of fall in this? Let's just do a top 5.
Well, what's number one?
Oh shit, that's a good question. I mean, we might have different number one.
Yeah,
For me, my number one Disney Plus Marvel show
it's
is.
got to be either WandaVision or Loki.
You're correct. It's actually Loki for me.
Okay.
Yeah, this might be Loki. Loki, because Loki for me, WandaVision was bizarre and it
Yeah.
stood out. Loki's gonna go above that just because I kind of cared more about the journey. Well, actually, I equally related to and was invested in Scarlet Witch's journey and Loki's journey. So like Loki might be 1, WandaVision is gonna be 2, 3. Oh, I really enjoyed Miss Marvel for what it was. I
Okay.
thought it was a really fun show.
Above.
Let's put Miss Marvel number 4. I'm gonna go. So, but my 3 is gonna have to be Falcon and Winter
Where's
Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier in that?
That show got on my nerves at times. Falcon and Winter Soldier might be 5, but then I feel like it's continuing to get something else that I may have missed because I'm like there was something up there that was good, but I'm like, eh. Maybe no. We're gonna do Falcon Winter Soldier 3. We'll do Miss Marvel 4, and then 5. Oh, this is tough. She-Hulk and Moon Knight and Secret Invasion just were all annoying, and I'm like,
I think I hold, as disappointing as it was, Secret Invasion is better than She-Hulk to me, because it's the same thing as you said with like Falcon
oh
Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
She-Hulk fell
There,
off
there were
too.
moments where I did have
Mhm.
fun, and there were lots of things that kind of bugged me at times. Um,
Oh, I forgot about Hawkeye. See, Hawkeye, I barely remember what happened. I wasn't fully invested in that show, so I can't even like feel bad about that one. Yeah, number 5 is probably gonna have to be Secret Invasion.
I'd have it. I'd have it
Oof.
above Hawkeye. Like the same thing had moments, but there was really not.
Oh
I
wow.
wasn't that interested in PTSD Hawkeye after, and
Yeah.
everybody coming after him because he was
The
Ronin.
end was dope. I
Yeah,
remember the end in that roller rink when him and what's her name? Kate?
yeah. Kate
Something
Bishop.
Kate. That was her name? Okay, yeah. Them kind of working collaborative at the end was cool, but and then Homegirl Echo was fighting, couldn't hear, was deaf. I was like, okay, interesting. But it's like that show kind of didn't stand out otherwise. It didn't really stand out. So I'm like, you have a repeat offense of these shows not holding up.
Yeah. Well, man. Thank you everybody for taking the time. I guess we're both leaving it at a 6 out of 10. I think it's sixth or seventh maybe on the list. There are arguments to have it above or higher than that, but
Hmm.
it's middling at best and back of the pack at worst to me. We'll see, and we'll see what they do with all the stuff they dropped. Monica and Octopus Frim, thank you for popping in and checking us out. We appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. And yes, you do need to hop back on Destiny 2 with the old Joseph um, reference. We need to get back online. We got things to do. Secret Invasion is a creative approach to resetting some of the character journeys for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is not necessarily resetting, but I think it's setting up what they're going to do in the future. It's a weird. It makes it for a weird transition, and I don't think that was necessarily done well. I think it could have been done a lot better because these things are supposed to feather in. We've already seen the trailer for Loki season 2.
Which I'm excited for actually.
Yeah, um,
That looks good.
they're going to be doing lots with the TVA, but really, if you look at the grand scheme of things, has nothing to do. Like none of that is linked to this, although
Right.
it is going to be linked to the Marvels film that's coming out. So
What, Secret Invasion or Loki as
Secret
well?
Invasion,
Yeah,
obviously.
Secret Invasion is just gonna lead. That's gonna Miss Marvel is gonna lead right off. Is gonna pick back up right for that.
So we'll see how that takes off. Once again, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Jordan, thanks for taking your time out of your
No
day
problem. No
to
problem.
chop it up. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Peace.